HQ Holden race. Peter Dane with a 103.36 on pole. Alongside of him is Benny Walsh out of 3, Frank Perderich. Then it's Russell Becker out of position 4 and Charles Aquino out of position number 5.
Out of position 6, 92, Carl Troffer. Jake Meyer out of 7. Vince Gatt out of 8. Out of 9, car 79, Wayne Sproston. And out of 10, John Watmore.
Big field this. Of 11, it's Will Cook. Michael Ord starts out of position number 12. Paul Agsiak from position number 13. Greg King starts out of 14. And Kenneth Chessman from 15.
Out of 16, Aussie Newhouse. Out of 17, car 75, David Doyle. And rounding out the grid, out of 18, car 90, Michael Hickey.
About 10 seconds away from the start of the ARDC Trophy race for the Rock and Roll Kingswoods. And they're about set to run. Off the line pretty smartly. Benny Walsh actually gets away quickly from Dane. Dane has the inside advantage in the blue machine as they come up Bitchapave Hill for the first time. And they have left the man sitting on the front row well and truly behind as they crest the top of Bitchapave. 28
in trouble, Ben Walsh. And he hasn't got very far to go. Anyway, they'll follow them across the top of the hill for the first time. Peter Dane, the man who was fastest in qualifying with 103.36, leads the pack round. And there really is a pack, Doug.
There's nothing like a Dane. Look at this man. He's gotten away well. He's put that 115 horsepower down. Scream of wheels.
Giving that 3-speed column shift plenty.
Yes, he's given... Well, he's through there quickly.
And got the waltz of the X-cabs underway. I must say, we sometimes treat these guys reasonably lightly, and it's not fair. It is one of the most entertaining forms of racing. They're very similar spec. They're, as a result, very competitive and provide a good afternoon for the spectators. And haven't we got a lot of spectators here? God's in his heaven. All's right with the world. The sun is shining in Amaroo Park, and the folks of Sydney have turned out in great numbers for this first round of the Australian Touring Car Championship. The HQ's making them smile all the while.
Whoa! We've got one out of shape coming across the camera there. He's managed to gather it up. Car 75 it was.
David Doyle.
Doyle.
So he heads up the hill. The rest of the pack has escaped down into Dunlop Loop.
How do you get sideways on a straight?
Only with an HQ.
Participated in HQ race.
So Peter Dane leads them through. Russell Becker, the guy qualified in 4th yesterday, has pushed his way up to 2nd place. This car's very evenly matched, as Doug alluded to only moments ago. 202 cubic inch Holden red motor. Pretty well stock standard under the skin, so for a few mandatory safety features like roll bars and such. But this is pretty much as they came off the showroom floor.
Back in 1971. Yes, a year to conjure with. Not one of the prettiest Holdens ever built, but they certainly were one of the most successful.
Certainly the most popular selling car.
They were effective. Not ground effective, but they were effective.
Apparently they made about 500,000 of these things, and there's not too many out on the open road anymore.
No, it's because the number of accidents these guys have, they're whipping them off the street and the wreckers and getting them out to the racetracks of Australia.
3 laps to go in this ARDC 5-lap sprint race.
Sliding around.
Frank Perderich going through there. He was mixed up with a huge shunt here last year. But they've all managed to turn them out okay.
Whoa, talking of big shunts. Oh, he's got it back under control. For about 200 metres there, we had one right off in the dust, fighting for survival.
A lot of guys racing these cars. It's a terrific introduction to motor racing, a cheap way to get into the sport. So many people participating in this class of racing that what you're seeing is a compilation of 2 earlier races. They took the top 50% from races 1 and 2, and you're seeing the fastest operators here at Amaroo Park today.
It's a very tight corner for an HQ, particularly if the brakes are a little on the spongy side. They've got 2 laps to go as they come across the line. Dane leads them up the hill again.
I was invited recently to have a pedal of one of these out at Eastern Creek, and surprisingly, with the limited modifications they're allowed, they're quite fun to steer. They stay on the track pretty much, which we're seeing here this afternoon, and offer the punter a good afternoon sport.
Earplugs are mandatory.
The scream of radials.
You've got to stay in place on that vinyl seat too, Doug. Look.
Absolutely. If you put the seat covers on, just as my dad used to do, you know, you get more money for them when you sell them years later. You stick every time you go to the beach, you perspire, and you get pimples on your bottom, but you get a good deal more money when you trade in.
What about one of those bead covers?
Yes, absolutely.
With the furry steering wheel cover.
Well, Dane still leads them down to the Lake Turner game. It's starting to tighten up a little behind him. Next time they'll get the last lap board, 1 lap to go. Only a 5-lap sprint for the HQ Kingswoods. Very popular class of racing. A lot of ARDC club members compete.
Oh, track's breaking up there. A big lump of tarmac right in front of the camera. Now it's gone. Peter Dane showing them a clean pair of heels. Fastest man in qualifying and duplicating that form in the race the last lap. And there's very little Russell Becker can do about this unless Dane makes a major mistake. His last 3/4 of a lap.
This category of racing was actually shipped to the mainland by Tasmania. This is where it started.
How appropriate.
Fantastic fields, as you'll see by the time we bring in the 3rd round of the Australian Touring Car Championship from Symmons Plains. The reminder too, round 2 of the championship will be coming from Sandown next weekend.
These boys, the faster boys, Peter Dane, for example, qualifying in 1:03.360, 13 seconds off the pace of the touring cars.
Puts it in perspective.
There's Peter Dane coming out of the lake corner, coming up to the final turn now. The checkered flag being unfurled. So Dane will go on to win the ARDC Trophy race here today over 5 laps. And a deserving winner indeed.
In the French racing blue livery that we last saw on Bugattis. 2 classic vehicles sharing the one colour. There it is, our race score, our Shell race score. In first position, Peter Dane in the HQ Holden. In second, Russell Becker. Charles DeQuino in third. Carl Trofer took out 4th position. And Frank Putterich 5th on this occasion.